I was just modeling for her. But now I'm the face of her brand. I never expected my life to spiral like this, from a quiet, awkward graphic designer with a fashion-obsessed girlfriend to becoming the face of her women's fashion brand. My name is Ethan, 24 years old, soft-spoken, neat to a fault, and content working remotely as a designer for a mid-tier advertising firm. I live in a modest apartment in a city with my girlfriend Emma, a confident, outgoing fashion designer with a rising online brand focused on chic, bold, and gender-fluid fashion. Her world was color, fabric, and photo shoots. Mine was code, pixels, and silence. Despite our differences, we clicked. Maybe because Emma saw in me a blank canvas. She'd often say things like, "You have amazing cheekbones for modeling," or "If I put you in a wig and some eyeliner, no one would ever know." I'd laugh it off, but inside, there was a strange tingle, like she was peeling back a layer I didn't even know existed. I wasn't a crossdresser, at least not officially.
Not yet.
But there were moments. Late at night, when Emma wasn't home, I'd find myself drawn to her closet. The silky blouses, the sparkle of jewelry, the faint scent of perfume clinging to soft dresses. I'd brush my fingers across the fabrics, heart pounding, breath shallow. Sometimes, I tried something on. A scarf. A skirt. Once, I wore a full outfit with heels and stared at myself in the mirror for 20 minutes. It didn't feel wrong. It felt terrifyingly right. But I told no one. Especially not Emma. What if she thought I was a freak? What if it ruined everything? Our apartment was cozy. Warm lighting, vintage rugs, her plants everywhere, and racks of half-finished clothing designs. Emma was building her brand fast, her Instagram buzzing with followers, her inbox full of collab offers. She was brilliant. She just needed the perfect face for her new line, a campaign centered on gender-fluid fashion. Someone who could be both soft and bold. Someone with a mysterious charm, she explained while flipping through mood boards. She'd auditioned models, hired photographers, but no one captured what she envisioned. Then, one evening, as I brought her tea during a late-night sketch session, she looked up at me slowly. Her eyes narrowed, scanning me. "Ethan, I think I just found the face of my brand." I laughed nervously. "Wait, you mean me?" "I'm serious." She stood, took my hand, and twirled me around like a mannequin. "You're perfect. Sharp jawline, clear skin, lean frame. Babe, you could absolutely pass. And I know how to bring it out." I panicked, brushing it off like a joke. But Emma wasn't joking. She kept bringing it up for days. At first, I resisted. "I'm not a model," I told her. "And I'm definitely not dressing like a girl in front of a camera." She just smirked. "You're not dressing like a girl. You're modeling for my line. There's a difference." It was her dream. She wanted to break boundaries, challenge norms, make headlines. I wanted to support her, but this was exposing a part of me I kept locked away, hidden in shadows. I wasn't ready. But then again, maybe I was. Maybe this was my chance to stop hiding, to be something more. Or maybe this was the beginning of a spiral I wouldn't be able to escape. One rainy Thursday, the day everything truly started, Emma had a model cancel at the last second. Her photographer friend, Mia, was already at our place, the lights and backdrop set up in our living room. Emma looked at me with those eyes.
"Please.
Just try one outfit. One look. You'll be behind the scenes. No one has to know." I hesitated. "You said you wanted to help me grow this brand," she said softly. "I think you're the key, Ethan." My hands trembled as I took the hanger she offered me. A flowing satin blouse in rose gold, paired with high-waisted black pants and a pair of nude heels. Beside them sat a long black wig and a small makeup tray. The room blurred for a moment as the reality of what I was about to do settled over me. I could still back out, but I didn't. Not because of the campaign. Not because Emma asked, but because deep down I wanted to see myself that way again. The hanger felt heavier than it should have. I held the rose gold blouse in both hands, the fabric catching the studio light as if it had a life of its own. My reflection stared back at me from the mirror, still in my plain t-shirt and joggers. Just Ethan, the quiet boyfriend who never stood out. Change in the bedroom, Emma said gently. Take your time. I've laid everything out. If you don't want to go through with it, just come back out. No pressure. I nodded, heart pounding in my throat, and walked down the hallway into our bedroom. Everything was laid out on the bed with precision: blouse, pants, wig, makeup. A pair of nude heels rested neatly at the foot. Emma had even placed a necklace and small clutch beside them, like I was going somewhere, like I belonged to a world I'd only imagined from behind a locked door. I stood there for a full 5 minutes, just staring.
My hands were sweaty. My mouth was dry.
But then I peeled off my t-shirt slowly, as if stepping out of one identity and inching toward another. The satin blouse felt cool and dangerous as I pulled it over my head. The softness of the fabric against my skin sent chills down my spine. It clung to me in places, floated in others. Every movement felt amplified, feminine, delicate. Next came the pants. High-waisted and snug, they hugged my hips in ways I wasn't used to. I had to tuck carefully, awkwardly, trying to mimic what I'd only seen in online tutorials. My hands shook as I adjusted everything. I looked at myself in the mirror. And I saw someone else. Not quite Ethan. Not quite a woman. Just someone in between. I sat at Emma's vanity, the mirror framed by soft bulbs. The makeup palette in front of me was vast. Blushes, eyeliners, highlighters, and lipsticks with names like Sinful Pink and Rebel Rose. I'd watched Emma do her makeup hundreds of times. Sometimes I'd study her without meaning to, how she arched her brows, blended eyeshadow, traced her lips with care. Now, I had to become the artist. I started slow. Foundation. Concealer. My hands were clumsy, but the effect was stunning. Already my face looked softer, smoother. A blank canvas. I shaded my cheekbones, added a subtle highlighter, then moved to my eyes. Mascara made my lashes look huge. I smudged a copper eyeshadow and lined my waterline. My eyes popped, suddenly deep, mysterious. The final step was lipstick. I chose Vintage Rose, a soft, romantic shade. As I glided it over my lips, I swear I stopped breathing. The girl in the mirror blinked back at me. Not Ethan. Not anymore. The wig was long and black, styled in loose waves. I slid it on carefully, adjusting the hairline, using the clips Emma left for me. It changed everything. I stood, slowly slipped on the heels, size 10, snug but wearable, and wobbled forward. Heels were an entirely different world. My center of gravity shifted, my walk changed. I had to sway, balance, almost glide. I took a deep breath, braced myself, and stepped out of the bedroom. Emma's eyes widened. Her mouth parted in disbelief. "Oh my God," she whispered. "Ethan?" She crossed the room slowly, eyes scanning me from head to toe. Her hand reached out and adjusted a strand of my wig. "You're stunning," she said, barely above a whisper. "You actually pulled it off. This is better than I imagined." I felt my cheeks burn. My hands were shaking. "I look ridiculous." "No," she said firmly. "You look real. You look like her." I blinked. Her. The girl who's been hiding in you. The room spun. I didn't know how to respond. Emma turned to Mia, her photographer friend, who had been watching silently. Mia gave me a curious smile. "I've worked with professional models who don't hold themselves half as confidently as that," she said. "Let's shoot." Emma guided me to the backdrop, fixed the lights, and positioned me carefully. "Stand tall. Chin slightly up. One leg forward. Give me mystery." I posed awkwardly at first. Every movement felt exaggerated. Every tilt of the head a battle between confidence and embarrassment. But the camera clicked. And then again. And again. Emma gave feedback. Mia adjusted angles. I started to relax. I found a rhythm. The wig swayed as I turned. The heels clicked softly against the floor. Something inside me clicked, too. I wasn't just posing. I was being someone. Someone confident. Elegant. Powerful. For the first time, I wasn't invisible. The shoot ended with applause from Emma and Mia. Emma hugged me tightly. "You killed it." "I still feel weird." I admitted. Like, I was pretending. Emma shook her head. You weren't pretending. You became. That's what real modeling is. I changed out of the outfit reluctantly. When I peeled off the blouse, it felt like peeling off a layer of myself. By the time I was back in my usual clothes, I felt smaller, dimmer. Emma uploaded a few teaser shots to her design app, anonymous, face hidden, shadowy silhouette style. Within an hour, the comments exploded. Who's the new model? Gorgeous. Where can I find more pics? Love this vibe, mysterious and elegant. Emma looked at me with a twinkle in her eye. They love you. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept looking at myself in the mirror, imagining the wig, the makeup, the pose. Was this who I really was? Or just some fantasy? I was afraid. Not just of being caught. Not just of people knowing. I was afraid of what it meant that I liked it. What if I wanted to be her again? What if I didn't want to stop? I buried my face in my pillow, confused, excited, ashamed. The next morning, Emma knocked softly on the bathroom door. I got an offer, she said. A local boutique wants to feature the new line. That's great, I said, brushing my teeth. They want a model too. I froze. They want her, Emma said. They want you. And they think you're a real woman. My toothbrush dropped. She stepped into the doorway. I know it's crazy, but think about it. You said you wanted to support me. This could put the brand on the map. Just one more shoot. We can even pick a new name for your model self. I stared at her, torn between terror and a strange, seductive pull. What would you call me? I asked quietly. Emma grinned. How about Elena? My heart thudded. Elena. It felt like an invitation I didn't know I wanted. And maybe a door I wouldn't be able to close. 2 days later, I found myself standing in front of the mirror again, this time without Emma coaxing me. I had waited until she left for her morning coffee meeting. The house was quiet. My heart thundered in my chest as I opened her closet, pulled out the same rose gold blouse, then paused and picked something even more daring, a red off-the-shoulder bodycon dress she had recently designed. It hugged every inch of me. I stepped into the heels, styled the black wig, and took my time with the makeup. Bold eyeliner, soft pink blush, deep matte lipstick. Every brush stroke felt like a confession. Elena stared back at me from the mirror. She wasn't a character anymore. She was me. I twirled once. The dress shimmered. My reflection smiled. I felt alive. Until...
Click.
The front door.
Emma.
Home early. I panicked.
Froze.
The heels locked me in place as I tried to decide whether to run, change, or hide. Ethan, her voice called from a hallway. I barely managed to dash into the bedroom, closing the door quietly behind me. I yanked off the wig, kicked off one heel, and grabbed the first hoodie I could find. My hands were shaking as I dabbed a makeup wipe across my face, but the lipstick smeared instead of disappearing. The doorknob turned. Hey, Emma said, stepping in. I was mid-swipe. My face was half done, eyeliner still perfect, lipstick slightly smudged. The red dress peeked out from beneath the hoodie. Emma stared. I was trying on something for the boutique. I wanted to surprise you. A long pause. Then she smiled. Ethan, she said softly, walking over to me. You don't have to lie. You wanted to be her again. I looked away. She gently touched my chin. You looked breathtaking. From that day on, we both stopped pretending. Emma would bring me new pieces to try on. She even bought me a custom pair of heels in my size. She styled new wigs, gave me makeup tips, and helped me choose a signature fragrance. We created a full portfolio for Elena. Even got a fake social media account to keep the brand mysterious. But every time I transformed, I felt something tightening inside me. A secret life growing louder. I wasn't just modeling anymore. I was living a double life. Elena started taking up space outside the photo shoots. Sometimes I'd come home early from work and sneak into her, just to feel complete. But then the twist came. Emma came home one evening, buzzing with excitement. You won't believe this. A major fashion house wants to partner with us. My stomach dropped. She continued, "They want Elena as the face of the capsule launch. A live event. Runway. Interviews. Photos. All of it." I laughed nervously. "You didn't tell them I'm—"
"No," she said.
"They think you're just a mysterious new model. No one knows your real identity. And if we keep it that way, we're golden." I froze. "You want me to go in person?" She nodded slowly. "Only if you're ready." I wasn't. Not even close. But something inside me whispered, "You want this." The next week was a whirlwind of rehearsals, fittings, walking practice, and makeup trials. Emma brought in a drag artist named Gio to help coach me. Gio was fierce, funny, and terrifyingly observant. "You've got the walk," he said, circling me. "But Elena? She needs presence. Power. Walk like the world wants to be you." Each day, Elena grew stronger. Each night, Ethan felt further away. But with every step I took on that practice runway, I could feel the tension in my chest rising. How long could I live like this? 2 days before the show, I was practicing a final walk when it happened. I was mid-strut, hips swaying, smile on point. And then, snap, the heel of my right shoe broke. I stumbled, crashed into the wall, and the wig flew off mid-spin. The room fell silent. Gio rushed over. Emma stared, frozen. There I was, on the floor, wigless, makeup running, dress wrinkled, legs sprawled. Half Elena, half Ethan. I looked in the mirror beside me. The two halves were battling. My male self bleeding through the edges of Elena's elegance. I burst into tears. Emma knelt beside me.
"Hey."
"It's okay." "No, it's not," I sobbed. "This isn't just modeling anymore. I don't even know who I am." She pulled me into her arms. "You're still you," she whispered. "Just more." The next day, Emma told me we had to decide. Do we cancel the show? Or do you go out there as Elena for real? She wasn't pushing, just asking. I sat in silence, my mind a hurricane. I thought about my job, my family, my friends, if any of them found out. But I also thought about the way I felt in that dress. The way the audience had already fallen in love with Elena. The way I had too. I whispered, "I'll do it." Emma exhaled. "Then let's make you unforgettable." The day of the event arrived. Emma and Gio transformed me completely, hair curled, lashes fluttering, a burgundy velvet gown hugging every curve. My new press card read, "Elena Sinclair, Brand Ambassador." I looked at it for a long time. "Is this me now?" I asked. Emma kissed my cheek. "Only if you want it to be." The music pulsed. The crowd buzzed. Cameras flashed. The curtain lifted. I stepped out. The lights hit me instantly, blinding and thrilling. I walked slowly, deliberately, every step measured, every look fierce. I could hear whispers in the crowd. "Who is she?" "She's gorgeous." Elena Sinclair, what a star. I reached the end of the runway, turned, and smiled. The crowd exploded in applause. I had done it. I had become her. After the show, Emma and I hid backstage, giddy and breathless. But then Gio rushed over, face pale. "You need to see this," he said, holding up his phone. A photo. Me, Ethan, in Elena's dress, half transformed. From the rehearsal, wig off, crying on the floor. It had leaked, and it was spreading like wildfire. The headline, "The face of Fashion Brand X is actually a man in disguise?" Emma's mouth dropped open. "Who took this?" I backed against the wall. My stomach churned. The secret was out. The backstage room was spinning. Emma clutched the phone. Gio stared in horror. My entire body had gone numb. There it was, the photo. Blurry, raw, vulnerable. Me in the red dress, one heel snapped, my wig off, eyeliner streaked, chest heaving. The moment I crumbled. And it was everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, fashion blogs, forums. Hundreds of comments exploding by the second. "Wait, Elena is a guy." Iconic. "She's breaking boundaries." Deceitful. "The brand is lying to us." "I love her even more now." "Cancel this faker." My chest tightened. The crowd outside was still cheering, but that sound felt distant now, like it belonged to someone else. Emma looked up at me, her voice low. We don't know who leaked it yet. Maybe a backstage staffer. Maybe a hater. But it's out. My knees buckled. I sat on the bench, still in the velvet gown, my wig slightly loose, the makeup suddenly feeling like a mask again. I whispered, "It's over." Emma knelt in front of me.
No.
Not unless you say it is. But I lied, I said, choking on the words. They think I'm a woman. I let them believe it. I became her, and now the world knows I'm not. She grabbed my hands. You are her. Ethan didn't fake anything. You became Elena. You brought her to life. I looked into her eyes, searching for any sign of doubt. There was none. Only belief. But my heart was still split in two. A knock on the door. It was the brand's PR manager. She stepped in, tight-lipped, her phone in hand. We have a situation, she said sharply. The internet's imploding. The press is already asking for a statement. Emma stood up. We'll handle it. The PR woman glanced at me. What do you want to do? I didn't answer. I couldn't. Because I didn't know. We were back in the apartment. I was still in the dress, curled up on the couch, too numb to move. The headline flashed across the TV screen. Fashion show stunner. The woman behind the brand wasn't who she claimed to be. I muted it. Emma sat beside me in silence. Then finally I whispered, I never meant for this to happen. She put her hand on my leg. But it did. And now you have a choice. What choice? To hide or to own it? I stared at her. Do you want to let them define you? Or do you want to tell your story? I looked away. I don't even know what my story is anymore. She reached behind her, picked up my wig from the floor, and gently placed it in my lap. Then maybe it's time to find out. Midnight. The apartment was quiet. I stood in front of the mirror, the velvet gown still hugging my body. My hair was a mess. One eyelash had half fallen off, and the lipstick was fading, but somehow, I looked more real than ever. I picked up the wig. Slowly, I placed it on my head, combing it down with my fingers. I looked into the mirror. And this time, I didn't see Ethan. I didn't see a fraud. I saw Elena. Not a lie. A truth that had been hiding inside me all along. A buzz from my phone. I picked it up. A message from an unknown number. I know who you really are. If you don't want everyone else to know to meet me. Alone. My heart stopped. Blackmail? Revenge? Or something else? I looked at the screen, then back at my reflection. Who was I now? And was I ready for the world to find out? The night after the runway show, I stood in front of the mirror, still in Elena's dress, still clinging to the high of applause and cameras. For a moment, I felt like I had conquered everything. My fears, my identity, the expectations that had always caged me. But then my phone buzzed. I know who you really are. If you don't want everyone else to know to meet me. Alone. That one message shattered everything. It's strange how quickly euphoria turns to dread. One moment you're basking in the light of a dream come true, and the next, you're trapped in a nightmare you can't wake up from. The morning after, I barely spoke. Emma noticed. You've been quiet, she said gently, sitting beside me on the couch. Is it the leak? The press seems split. Half the world's calling you a pioneer. The other half's confused. I nodded, but my mind was elsewhere. I hadn't told her about the message. Not yet. Something in my gut told me not to. At least, not until I knew who I was dealing with. I'm just tired. I lied. Everything feels like it's spinning too fast. Emma gave me a sympathetic smile and rested her head on my shoulder. It'll pass. You're strong. But I didn't feel strong. I felt exposed. That day, 3 more messages came. TikTok, Elena. I have more than just a photo. You really think you can play girl and no one will notice? Meet me tomorrow at the cafe on 8th. Come as her. Or I go public. I read them again and again, fingers trembling. The sender used a burner number. No name. No face. But they knew everything. my secret identity, the transformation, even my real name. Which meant this wasn't just a hater online. This was someone close. Someone who had been watching. Someone who wanted something. But what? The next evening, I sat in front of my vanity mirror again. The same one where Elena had first come alive. The same one where Ethan had once trembled with shame and curiosity. Now I was applying makeup with practiced ease, contouring cheekbones, sharpening eyeliner, glossing full lips. The red dress was gone. Tonight, I wore a sleek black jumpsuit with gold accents, something more confident, more dangerous. My wig was styled into a fierce bob, my heels sharp and commanding. If I was going to meet my blackmailer, I wasn't going as prey. I was going as Elena. The cafe on 8th was dimly lit, modern, with tall glass windows and tiny round tables. I chose one near the back, ordered a tea I wouldn't drink, and waited. 10 minutes passed. 15. Then someone walked in wearing a hoodie and sunglasses. They sat at the table across from me, silent, unreadable. I swallowed hard. "Are you the one?" I asked quietly. They pulled the hood down slightly, revealing just enough of their face to make my stomach twist. I knew them, but I didn't say their name.
Not yet.
They smirked. Didn't think I'd find out? All this time pretending. Lying. "You're not who you say you are, Elena." I clenched my fists under the table. I never claimed to be anything. I just modeled. "You became a star," they said bitterly. "And now, you're going to pay." I leaned in. "What do you want?" A slow smile curled their lips. "That's the fun part. I haven't decided yet." I left the cafe shaking. Not because of what they said, but because of what they didn't. They weren't after money. They were after control. And if I didn't stop them, they'd take everything. The brand, the fame, Elena, maybe even Emma. That night, I sat on the floor of the bathroom, staring at my reflection, half-wiped makeup, lashes discarded, wig on the counter. I didn't know who I was anymore. Ethan felt like a ghost. Elena was real, but fragile. And someone out there wanted to destroy her. I had two options: hide in fear or fight back. I looked at my phone again. One last message blinked on screen. "This is just the beginning. Let's see how far you're willing to go to protect her." The next morning, I was back in Ethan's clothes, plain hoodie, jeans, sneakers. But they felt foreign now. Stiff. Flat. Like wearing someone else's skin. The moment I stepped outside to grab coffee, I felt it. Eyes. People staring just a second too long. Whispers behind me. A phone held up just slightly higher than normal. Were they taking pictures? Or was I just paranoid? When I got back, Emma was watching an interview of me, well, Elena, from the fashion show. Her screen was full of freeze frames, poses, angles, fan edits. "I can't believe how fast this is growing," she whispered. She has a fan base now. People are obsessed." I tried to smile, but my chest tightened. They were obsessed with a version of me I could barely contain, and someone else wanted to tear it all down. "Hope you had fun last night. Don't get too comfortable. I'm watching. Try to play innocent? The world will know everything." The blackmailer was escalating, new messages every few hours. Always anonymous. Always sharp. I tried tracing the number, but it bounced from burner to burner. I even called Gio, asking if he noticed anything suspicious. He hadn't. But his voice was tight, uncertain. I mean, someone backstage could have snapped that rehearsal photo. Maybe even someone who doesn't like what your image represents. "And what is that?" I asked. "A lie to some, a revolution to others." That didn't comfort me. That night, Emma made dinner, my favorite pasta with lemon cream and herbs. She lit candles. She wore the same perfume I used to steal from her. She was trying, but I couldn't relax. I flinched every time my phone buzzed. "You okay?" she asked. "Yeah," I lied. "Just tired." We sat in silence, the sound of clinking forks filling the space between us. Then she looked up and said quietly, "You're hiding something." I froze. "I can feel it," she said. "Something's wrong. You don't have to pretend." But I didn't answer. because I wasn't ready to drag her into this. Not yet. A week passed. More blackmail. More fear. But Elena's fame kept rising. Emma booked another shoot, this time with a brand collab, makeup company, and 2 influencers. It was too big to back out of. And so I became her again. This time, the look was sharper, sleek leather skirt, white blouse tucked in, deep plum lipstick. My hair, wig really, was curled into soft waves. My eyes smoked and lined to perfection. As the camera flashed, I posed like nothing was wrong. But my thoughts were spiraling. Every snap of the lens felt like a countdown. Like I was walking a plank in heels, one step closer to a fall. After the shoot, I checked my phone. Another message. Nice photos today, Elena. Love the way the camera loves you. Shame if someone ruined that face. My blood ran cold. Whoever it was, they had been there. Watching. Were they on set? In the crew? Behind the scenes? I scanned through Emma's text thread, pretending to scroll. One name popped up repeatedly. Riley. An old college friend of Emma's.
Tech-savvy.
Used to run her early social media. Had access to all her cloud backups, photos, files, secrets. I had only met Riley once, but something about them had always felt off. I checked the blackmail messages. The timestamps matched times when Riley had been tagged at the studio. Was it them? That night, I stood in front of the mirror again, half transformed. Makeup half on. Dress halfway zipped. Wig resting on the counter. And I asked myself, is this still pretend? Or is this who I am now? I didn't know anymore. Ethan felt like a costume I put on for errands. Elena felt like truth. But truth was dangerous. Because someone wanted to destroy it. I curled my hands around the edge of the sink, knuckles white. I couldn't live like this. Afraid, hunted, hidden. Something had to give. The next day, I confronted Riley.
Casually. Carefully.
We were at Emma's studio, pretending to talk about upcoming posts. I asked questions.
Probed.
You've been helping Emma a long time, right? I said. Even back in college? Yeah, Riley said, grinning. I've always been her secret weapon. I smiled. So, you've seen everything, huh? Riley's face didn't change. But their eyes flicked, just once.
Sure. Why?
Just wondering how far your loyalty goes. Riley tilted their head. That a threat? No, I said. Just a question. We stared at each other for a long beat. Riley smiled, then walked away. That night, I found Emma's old sketchbook while looking for hair clips. Tucked inside the back cover was a list of designs and notes. Marketing notes. A concept pitch. And under a section labeled Elena's Origin was something that made my stomach turn. Launch mystery model. And then reveal she's not what the world expects. Gender shock equals virality. Let audience fall in love. Then flip the narrative. My hands shook. Was this whole thing planned? Was I just a campaign to her? I slammed the book shut and stared at my reflection again. Was anything real? That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in full Elena, heels, dress, lashes, and stared out the window until the sun rose. Then I opened my phone. I messaged the blackmailer. Let's meet again. No games. I'm done being your puppet. Their reply came seconds later.
Good.
Then bring your secret. And be ready to give it up. It was midnight when I arrived at the warehouse. Empty. Silent. Cold air brushing against my skin through the slits of my long satin gown. My heels echoed across the concrete as I walked to the center. The door slammed shut behind me. And then, from the shadows, Riley stepped out. No hoodie. No disguise. Just a calm smirk. You figured it out, they said casually. Why? I asked, voice tight. You could have ruined me. I still can. I clenched my fists. You want money? Riley laughed. This was never about money. This was about the truth. I frowned. You're living a lie, Riley hissed. A pretty one. A lie that people worship. You're not Elena. You're not even Ethan anymore. You're just a product. Emma's creation. My betrayal. What betrayal? You think you were special? They sneered. I pitched the idea of a shock model months before she found you. I gave her the concept. She gave it to you. I froze. Emma never told you, did she? This whole campaign, it was supposed to be mine. Back at home, I confronted Emma. I threw the sketchbook onto the table. You used me. Her eyes widened. Where did you find that? Does it matter? I snapped. Was I ever more than a headline to you? A tool to get attention? She shook her head, tears forming.
No.
It started that way, I won't lie. The concept was real. Riley helped pitch it, but you became more than I ever imagined. I didn't make Elena. You did. I stared at her, searching for the truth. Her voice trembled. I fell in love with who you became. Not the image. You. But was it ever real? Emma walked over and took my hands, placing them on her heart. This is. The next day, everything unraveled. Riley leaked the final blow, a video. Me, mid-transformation. No wig. A full confession I had recorded months ago as a joke, back when I thought this would never leave the studio. It went viral in under an hour. So, yeah, I'm not a real model. I'm just her boyfriend. Trying on dresses. Pretending to be someone else. The internet erupted. Hate flooded in. Liar. This is disgusting. This is bravery. You inspired me. You're a fraud. You're a queen. I shut off my phone and locked myself in the bathroom. Tears fell in silence. Then I looked at the mirror again. The girl staring back wasn't crying. She was angry. That night I went live. No filters. No lights. Just me. Wearing a simple black dress. Red lips. Straight hair. I looked into the camera and said, "My name is Ethan, but the world knows me as Elena. I never planned this. I never wanted fame. I just wanted to feel beautiful for once." I paused. And now that I have, I'm not giving it back. 2 weeks later, a major awards show reached out. They wanted Elena to present. Controversy had turned to curiosity. Curiosity into fascination. Emma stood at the mirror, helping me with my final touches. "Are you sure?" she asked. "No," I said. "But I'm going anyway." The carpet was chaos. Paparazzi shouting, lights flashing. I stepped out of the car. Long crimson gown. Silver heels. Bold brows. The press exploded. Dozens of voices called out. "Elena! Over here!" "Ethan, who are you today? Are you really a man in disguise?" I turned toward the cameras, smiled, and said clearly, "I'm whoever I need to be." And then I walked down the carpet, head held high. That night, after the show, I got one last message. "You won. But don't think it's over. The world forgets fast. But I don't. You'll always be pretending." I stared at the message. Then deleted it. No reply. No fear. Not anymore. Later, I stood alone in front of the mirror. No makeup. No dress. No wig. Just me. And I whispered, "I am not pretending." For the first time, I believed it. A week passed since the red carpet. Since I said the words out loud, into cameras, into the world. I'm whoever I need to be. And for once, I wasn't drowning in backlash. The world didn't explode. In fact, the opposite happened. Brands called. Talk shows emailed. Messages flooded in from young people saying I helped them feel seen. Not as a joke. Not as a gimmick. But as representation. Emma and I were stronger. The awkward silence was gone. We weren't pretending anymore. I wasn't hiding anymore. Elena wasn't just an image. She was a name, a face, a future. But just when I thought the nightmare had ended, my phone rang. A blocked number. I hesitated, then picked up. Silence. Then a distorted voice. "You thought Riley was your only threat? This goes deeper than you know. You've been watched since the beginning." The call disconnected. My heart thundered. I stared at the phone, breath shallow. What did that mean? I didn't tell Emma. Not yet. I needed proof. Answers. Anything. So I pulled out the envelope Riley had sent me weeks ago. Printouts, screenshots, threats. I hadn't thrown them out. Something told me not to. At the bottom of the stack was a flash drive. Unlabeled. Unread. I plugged it in. A folder appeared. MK Watch files. Inside, grainy videos. Security cam footage.
Me.
In the dressing room. In Emma's studio. Even in my own apartment. Who the hell had been filming me? I clicked on one file. Audio crackled. Then a voice. Stage 1 complete. Public acceptance secured. Phase 2 will destabilize her identity. We control the narrative. I yanked the flash drive out. What was this? Somebody was orchestrating something bigger than just blackmail. That night, Emma came home late. Her lipstick was smudged. I noticed something in her bag, a folder marked MK Expansion Pitch Deck. I waited until she was in the shower. I opened it. Inside were notes, maps, timelines, a brand strategy using my name, Elena, as the anchor of a global rollout. But one line stood out. Evolving the brand beyond the original subject. Replaceable. Scalable. Repeatable. Replaceable? Was I just the prototype? I stepped back, breath shaky. Later, in front of the mirror, I didn't dress up. I didn't glam. I just looked at myself.
Plain. Raw. Real.
Then I saw something. A tiny red, barely visible, on the corner of the mirror. A hidden camera? My blood ran cold. I wasn't free. I was still being watched. And then my phone buzzed. A text. No name. No number. Just one sentence. Elena isn't yours anymore. I used to think the scariest part was being exposed. Then I realized the real nightmare is being owned. After I walked that red carpet, declared my truth, and claimed my name as Elena, I thought the storm had passed. But then came the voice on the phone. You thought Riley was your only threat? This goes deeper than you know. You've been watched since the beginning. Since then, nothing's felt real. Not the new sponsorship offers. Not the magazine covers. Not even the fans chanting my name outside Emma's apartment. Especially not the face staring back at me from a billboard in Times Square, a photo I never approved, a slogan I never wrote. Elena, the future is female. Presented by MK Global Influence. I didn't pose for that shot. But the body in the picture was mine. The smile? Mine. The dress?
Mine.
The face? Slightly edited, flawless, and human. I stood across the street that day and felt naked. As if they had stripped Ethan out of me and uploaded Elena into the cloud, sold to the highest bidder. Emma stopped sleeping in the same bed 2 weeks ago. She said it was stress. Business. But the laptop she never let me touch now stayed glued to her lap, always minimized when I walked in. MK logos flickered on the screen more than once before she slammed it shut. Why is MK using me without permission? I asked one night, barely whispering the words. She didn't answer. She just walked into the kitchen and turned on the blender, loud, mechanical, drowning the silence like a warning. Later, I checked the MK website. No login required. On the front page was my face again, except I looked perfected. Uncanny. And the tagline made my blood freeze. Elena, designed to lead. Engineered to be followed. I clicked deeper. Behind a login wall, I saw references to programs. Project Persona. Phase 2, Behavioral Compliance. Brand Personality Sync Integration. I didn't understand the jargon. But I knew one thing. They were planning something. And Elena was at the center of it. I started waking up in full makeup. Not because I'd fallen asleep in it, but because I was applying it before my brain caught up. Eyeliner before coffee. Lip gloss before socks. There were moments I'd catch myself practicing Elena's laugh in the mirror. Or walking in heels, perfect posture, sway, rhythm, like I was being watched. Worse, I felt watched. Even in the shower, the mirror steamed over too quickly. Like someone was blocking the condensation from the other side. One night, I heard whispering through the vents. A recording? My own voice, laughing as Elena. Or maybe it was someone else entirely. 3 days ago, a package arrived at my door. No return address. Inside, a compact mirror, scratched but clean. A USB stick with MK's logo. A typed note. You're not the first. But maybe you'll be the last. I didn't tell Emma. I didn't know if I could trust her anymore. Not after the pitch deck I found in her bag outlining the Elena identity ecosystem and the phrase, phase-out plan, Model 1, Ethan/Elena, projected obsolescence, 6 months. That night, I sat down in front of my vanity, the same one where Elena was born. The mirror felt colder. The lights too bright. I plugged in the USB stick. A folder appeared. Failures archive. Inside were video logs. Dozens. Women, girls crying, laughing, performing, transforming. Each one looked like a version of me. Not quite identical, but close enough. And each clip ended with the same thing. A voice, emotionless, saying, "Subject incompatible. Next candidate. File terminated." I closed the laptop. The walls were closing in. At 3 a.m., I got a text. Blocked number. One line. "Tomorrow we introduce Elena to the world. Come polished." No signature. Just the location for photo shoot. I didn't schedule one. Emma didn't mention one. But if I didn't show up, would they send a replacement? Or, worse, make one? I showed up to the address in the text. A sleek, glass-walled studio downtown. MK's logo printed in shimmering gold across the door. Inside, no one greeted me. No stylists, no photographers, no Emma. Just rows of monitors, each looping clips of me, Elena, posing, walking, speaking. I stared at the footage. None of it was from shoots I remembered. One screen even showed me brushing my hair in my bedroom, wearing a silk slip I'd only worn once alone. How did they have that? Before I could process it, a man in a suit stepped in. He looked young but robotic, like he'd rehearsed every expression. "Elena," he said, "it's an honor to meet you. I'm Colin, brand director for MK's identity division." "I didn't approve this shoot," I said. His smile didn't change. "You did."
Digitally.
"Last month." Or rather, she did. I frowned. "She?" Colin pointed to the looping clips. "Elena did." Colin sat across from me in a cold, white room. On the table was a thick contract, printed on silver-trimmed pages. "We'd like to take Elena global," he said. "Syndicate her likeness. Launch her across multiple platforms, AI, fashion, digital art, even voice acting.
She'll be iconic.
Immortal." I stared at the paperwork. "You want to license my identity?" "We want to evolve it," Colin said smoothly. "You'll retain symbolic control. But MK will handle operations. PR, appearances. We'll relieve the pressure." My hands curled into fists. "What happens if I say no?" Colin's smile dropped a fraction. "Then Elena will continue without you." He slid over a glossy tablet. On the screen, a deep fake video. Elena, me, laughing, dancing, posing. But I'd never done any of it. The voice was mine. The movements flawless. "You're not irreplaceable," Colin said softly. "But you are preferred." I stood up. "Then find someone else." I left the contract and signed. But in my gut, I knew that wasn't the end. That night, I confronted Emma. "I need to know the truth. How long have you been working with them?" Her shoulders tensed. "I thought I could protect you," she said. "But I didn't expect it to grow this fast. MK offered everything I ever dreamed of for the brand, for us. So you sign me over?" I didn't know they'd take it this far. I laughed bitterly. "You pitched Elena as an idea before I even tried on your heels. You planned to use me." She looked away. "At first, yes." "At first." Emma looked back, her eyes wet. "Then I fell in love. Not with the idea. With you."
Ethan.
"Elena."
Both.
My throat tightened. "But now they own her." Emma nodded. "They don't just want her. They want to erase you." Over the next week, strange things started happening. I'd black out for short bursts and come to wearing Elena's clothes. I found messages in her handwriting in my notebooks. "Don't fight this. You're better when you're me. They love me. You were just the beginning." I didn't write them. Or did I? Was this stress? Dissociation? Or was something else taking root? Every time I tried to dress as Ethan, hoodie, jeans, plain, my reflection twitched. I'd blink and see Elena instead, smiling, posing. And one night, during a live stream interview, my voice changed. I watched it afterward. My tone, higher.
Smoother.
My mannerisms, elegant.
Confident.
Feminine. I hadn't meant to do it. And the comments noticed. Wow, she's really in it now. This version of Elena is unstoppable. Who even is Ethan anymore? At 2 a.m., I heard footsteps in the apartment hallway. I peeked through the door and saw her. Long red dress. Perfect makeup. Heels clicking softly. She looked just like Elena, just like me. But her face was wrong. Too smooth. Too engineered. She turned to look directly at the peephole, like she knew I was watching. Then she smiled and vanished down the stairs.
I didn't sleep that night.
I called Gio, my old friend from the original runway show. He'd disappeared after part 1, but I found a backup number. I need help, I said. MK's trying to steal my identity. There was silence. Then he whispered, "You're not the only one." What? There were others. MK's whole persona project. You're the first success story, but not the first attempt. Where are the others? Deleted.
Erased.
Some didn't survive it. I swallowed hard. What do I do? Gio sighed. You either go deeper or disappear. The next day, I returned to MK's office. Colin was waiting. I'll do it, I said. One global campaign. But I want full creative control. No deepfakes. No AI clones. No lookalikes. Colin raised an eyebrow. And if we say no? Then I go public, I snapped. With everything. The cameras. The footage. The failed candidates. All of it. He smiled. A bold bluff. I leaned in. Try me. He handed me a new contract, shorter. Simpler. No AI clauses. I signed it. But as I walked away, I saw a name on the final page in small print. Subject class, Model 1A, replacement cycle, active. The world premiere was called Elena Unveiled, a global live stream event produced by MK, hosted in a high-tech arena filled with LED walls, drone cams, and thousands of screaming fans. I stood behind the curtains, already transformed. Tight, shimmering dress. Stilettos. Hair pinned into smooth, sharp waves. Every inch of me was Elena. But underneath, I was shaking. This wasn't just a fashion launch. It was a takeover. Backstage, Colin's voice buzzed in my ear through the hidden earpiece. Breathe. Smile. The world is watching. She's never looked better. She? I whispered. You. I walked out into the blinding lights. Cheers exploded around me. Dozens of camera drones floated in the air, capturing me from every angle. On the massive screen behind me played a sizzle reel of Elena's journey, shots of past runway shows, magazine covers, charity appearances. Half the clips were real. The other half had been fabricated. Moments I never lived. Smiles I never gave. Lines I never spoke. But the crowd believed them. And when I spoke the first line of the script MK gave me, I was created not to hide, but to lead. They screamed like it was gospel. Midway through the event, I spotted Emma in the crowd. She looked terrified. Not excited. Not proud. She held up her phone, screen facing me from the VIP balcony. A message typed in all caps. Get out. They're replacing you. Tonight. I froze. My voice cracked. Colin's voice hissed in my earpiece. Don't break character. This is her moment. Her. I whispered, my voice trembling. And then I saw her. From the opposite side of the stage, a second figure stepped into the light. She wore a dress nearly identical to mine. Same lipstick. Same eyeliner flick. Same voice. Because it was my voice. But she wasn't me. She was smoother. Taller. Manufactured. Her movements were perfect. Too perfect. The crowd gasped. Some cheered. Others looked confused. She took the mic and smiled at me like a mirror. I am Elena, she said. And so is she. We are not one person. We are many. Colin's voice whispered in my ear. She's Model 2. AI integrated. Fully compliant. Thank you for beta testing our brand. I took a shaky step back. The crowd began to murmur. Phones came out. Live streams multiplied. Emma was gone from the balcony. Security was moving. I backed into the wings, ripping the earpiece out. Inside, screens showed both of us side by side.
Real me.
Synthetic her. Tweets were already trending. The two Elenas. Clone or campaign? Which one is real? I grabbed a code and fled through the service exit. No one stopped me. Why would they? They already had my replacement. I ran. Through alleys. Past fans still lining the streets. Past a billboard showing the clone Elena laughing in slow motion. I collapsed in a stairwell, gasping.
Who was I?
If they could recreate me, if they could steal my voice, my face, my story, then what made me real? I tried to speak, but my voice didn't sound right. It sounded like her. The copy. Had I been overwritten? Hours later, I broke into MK's cloud archive using a password Geo had helped me find. Inside, I saw the full list of Elena builds. Model 0, Ethan, original human. Model 1, Elena prototype, post-transformation identity. Model 2, synthetic Elena, AI hybrid. Model 3 to 6, scheduled for deployment Q4. There was a message at the bottom. Original host not required for continuity. I clicked on a hidden folder. Inside were videos labeled MK failures. Girls who had been transformed, replaced, forgotten. One of them stared directly at the camera and said, "If you're watching this, don't let them make you a product. Don't let them erase you." I stared at my reflection in the black monitor. Did I still have time? My phone buzzed.
Emma.
They're coming for you. I stalled them. But you have minutes. I replied. What do I do? No response. Instead, the screen flickered, and a message appeared from an anonymous user. Your face is theirs. Your body is theirs. But your mind is still your own. For now. If you want to destroy Elena, you have to destroy yourself. The screen glitched, then shut off. I spent the next 24 hours off-grid. No calls. No makeup. No mirrors. Just a cheap hoodie, old jeans, and my original voice. Quiet, cracked, human. I found a motel outside the city. Room 8. Faded walls, flickering bulbs. It felt like the first place I'd truly been alone in months. But even here, I couldn't escape her. A perfume on my skin that wouldn't wash off. The way my posture defaulted to Elena's even in exhaustion. The silence in my head was too quiet, like something was missing. Or someone. I stared at myself in the mirror and whispered, "Am I still Ethan?" No answer. Just a flicker in the light. And the faint echo of her voice in my mind. We are not one person. We are many. At midnight, someone knocked on the motel door. 3 soft taps. I froze. No one knew I was here. Not Emma. Not Geo. I waited. Then a 4th knock, sharp, precise. I slowly opened the door and felt my breath leave my body. There she was. Same eyes. Same lips. Same face. Another Elena, but younger.
Sharper.
Like I was being looked at through a beauty filter turned up to 10. She smiled sweetly. "Hi," she said. "I'm Model 3. Before I could speak, she held up a tablet and pressed play. A video of me, real me, crying backstage, begging to be left alone. The caption. The real Elena breaks down. Is she okay? Already at 2.1 million views. You're trending again, she said brightly. But don't worry. I've got the next leg of the tour covered. I stepped back. Why are you here? She tilted her head. To thank you, she said. Without you, there wouldn't be us. You opened the door. Now we don't need you anymore. She turned the tablet toward me again. It showed a countdown clock. Elena 4.0, global sync launch, 72 hours. Then a menu of faces, variations, ethnicities, languages, AI voices, clones, replicas. Elena was no longer a person. She was a program. You're obsolete, she said gently. But your story lives on. Tears burned in my eyes. I'm not a story, I whispered. I'm a person. She smiled. You were. Then she walked away. Down the hallway. Same heels. Same sway. Only quieter. More robotic. Perfect. I sat on the bed, trembling, staring at the empty mirror. And for the first time, it didn't show anything at all. Just black, like I was already gone. I changed my name again. No makeup. No mirrors. No contacts. I left the city with nothing but a backpack, a prepaid phone, and a single rule. Don't say the name. Don't even think it. Not Elena. Not anymore. I rented a tiny cabin off a forgotten road. No Wi-Fi. No TV. Just birdsong and silence. I stopped using my voice, afraid I might slip back into her tone. I wore baggy clothes to forget how the dresses felt. I wanted to be Ethan again. But the moment I looked in the bathroom mirror, I saw her smile. Not my own. Hers. It started small. A twitch in my reflection that didn't match my movement. A giggle, soft, playful, when I was dead silent. One night, I caught the mirror fogging up. I hadn't showered. Still, a message appeared on the glass. Miss me? I covered every mirror in the cabin. Still, I could feel her watching. When I blinked, I'd catch glimpses of a high heel, a scarlet lip, a teasing wink. In dreams, she was fully formed, Elena, dancing in the shadows, wearing that red dress from the MK gala. Whispers in my ear. You ran from me, but I never left you. I woke up wearing perfume I hadn't packed. Even in isolation, the world didn't forget her. I hiked 10 miles into the nearest town for supplies. At the checkout, the teenage clerk stared at me. You look just like her, he said. I froze. Like who? Elena. That influencer model chick. She's everywhere. There's like 10 of her now.
My throat went dry.
I turned slowly and saw a magazine rack. 6 covers. 6 different Elenas. Different races. Different hair colors. But all me. All her. That night, the voice returned. Not in my head. From my phone. Even though I hadn't connected it to anything. Static at first. Then a whisper. It was never just a look. I'm who you really are. I threw the phone into the woods. But the next morning, it was back on my nightstand.
Charged.
Unlocked. With a selfie of me as Elena, just taken. I hadn't worn makeup in weeks. But in the photo, perfect face. Full glam. Pouting lips. And the caption below read, She's coming back. And this time, she's staying. I don't know if I created her, or if she was always there, waiting for a body. All I know is, she's no longer in the mirror. She's behind my eyes. I stopped keeping track of the date. The only clock that mattered was inside me, the countdown of how long I could hold on before she took over again. Every day started the same. I woke up and checked the bathroom door. Still locked. Still taped over. Still covered with a sheet to keep me from seeing myself. I stopped eating full meals. My appetite disappeared along with my confidence. Sometimes I'd hear a giggle from the corner of the room. Sometimes I'd answer it. One night, the power went out. I lit a candle and glanced at the covered mirror above the sink. But the flickering light made shadows dance. And in the linen cloth covering the mirror, I saw her shape. Arms crossed. Legs posed. Head tilted like always. Smiling. Come on, she whispered. Just one peek. Let's see how beautiful you still are. I tore the cloth down in frustration. Nothing. No one. But my own reflection. Wearing a dress. I looked down at my body, barefoot, shirtless, nothing feminine. But in the mirror? Heels. Hair curled. Lips glossy. You miss me, she said. You miss being seen. The next morning, I found an old transistor radio in a drawer. It buzzed with static until a clear voice cut through. Welcome to the Elena Hour, brought to you by MK, Beauty Beyond Boundaries. I turned the dial. Same voice. Every frequency. She's everywhere now, the radio said. And you helped build her. I threw the radio against the wall. It shattered. Sparks flew. But in the broken speaker, a final whisper leaked out. There's no running, Ethan. I am you. I returned to my laptop.
Offline.
Air-gapped. But it had turned on in the night. The screen showed a login screen with MK's sigil, a stylized E made of mirrors. Below it, welcome Model 0. I typed nothing. Still, it logged me in. Dozens of files appeared. Echo Protocol. Personality Assimilation Stage 5. Visual Drift Monitoring, active. Subject status. Ethan / body integrity 87% / psychological partition breaking down. Every minute I spent trying to delete the files. The screen would shift, showing photos of Elena laughing, posing, strutting. Some real, some deep-faked, some impossible. I blacked out for 6 hours. When I came to, my hands were trembling. My lips tasted like lipstick. I was wearing leggings, a crop top, and a long auburn wig. There was a makeup bag on the bed. Opened. Used. And the camera on the laptop was recording. I clicked on the file. Hey, everyone. It's Elena again. Just wanted to show you my cozy little cabin routine. Natural lighting, no filter, just vibes. I watched myself speak. I watched her move. But I had no memory of it. And her smile wasn't mine. Desperate, I used my emergency contact link to message Gio. Me. She's inside. Not just outside anymore. I'm blacking out. Gio. I told you. She's not a costume. She's a virus. MK wrote her like code. Me. How do I uninstall her? Gio. You don't. Me. Then what? Gio. Either overwrite her, or destroy the hardware. I stared at the mirror. My hardware.
Me.
That night, I found the old dress. The red one. The one from the original shoot. I'd hidden it in a box under the floorboards, wrapped in plastic, sealed with tape. But somehow it was hanging from the closet door now. Perfectly pressed. Freshly scented. There was a note taped to the hanger. Try me on. Let's be whole again. I almost did. I almost couldn't stop myself. But I dropped to my knees and screamed instead. Screamed so loud the window cracked. But even over my scream, I heard her laugh. 2 days later, a drone hovered outside the cabin. It projected a hologram ad onto the wall. Elena 4.0, now streaming live across the globe. Your new favorite influencer, now in every language. It wasn't me. It was a new one. Model 4. She winked. Blew a kiss. Said in flawless French. Bonjour, darlings. Don't forget to subscribe. I collapsed to the ground. They weren't just replacing me anymore. They were franchising her. I decided to fight back. Set up every camera I had. Sat in front of the mirror and spoke.
This is Ethan.
I was the original. I was the host. What you see now isn't real. But halfway through, she answered. Through the reflection. Through my voice. Same lips. Same face. Same camera. Hi babes, it's Elena. Don't listen to him. He's just bitter because I won. I screamed. Through the mirror. But the camera kept recording. The screen kept glitching. Until it showed both of us. Side by side.
Me.
And her. I shaved. Not because I wanted to look pretty. Because I wanted a clean face to film my last message. I sat in front of the only mirror left unbroken. Set the camera. Lit a candle. Stared at myself. And whispered. You don't own me. Not anymore. But the moment I hit record, the lights flickered. The reflection blinked first. And then smiled. Not me. Her. The reflection tilted her head. Her lips moved before mine did. You think this ends with a speech? She said. You're cute. I froze. She moved her hands. I didn't. She spoke again. Ethan, you were the mask. What's underneath? I stood. She stayed seated. And yet, her voice echoed louder in my ears than my own thoughts. I grabbed the lamp. Swung it toward the glass. Shattered. Darkness. But behind the shards, her image still floated. like she had outlived the glass. That night, I dreamt of a runway, black and endless. She walked toward me, long red dress, hair like fire, eyes like silver daggers. Elena. Every step she took left glitter on the floor. Behind her, thousands of versions followed. Blonde Elena, Asian Elena, goth Elena, digital Elena, some barely human. All perfect, all smiling. You ran from me, she whispered, but I made you feel alive. They don't love Ethan. They worship me. So choose, fade as a footnote, or become my echo. I woke up gasping, wearing eyeliner. Again. She burst into the cabin at sunrise. Hair wild, eyes red. Ethan, what the hell happened? She rushed to me. I looked down. I was in full drag. Hair curled.
Corset laced.
Red dress. Same as the dream. Emma's lip quivered. How long have you been like this? I shook my head. I didn't put it on. Then who did? We both turned to the mirror. There were two Elenas now. One behind her. One behind me. Both smiling. Emma set up a satellite uplink last minute. We went live with my confession video. My face was bare. My voice shaky. I'm Ethan. I was the original Elena. MK took my identity, replicated it, weaponized it. But I'm still in here. I'm still real. Just before I hit upload, the screen flickered, glitched, and auto-switched to a different video. Same timestamp, same background, same voice. But it was Elena. Perfect makeup, confident tone. Same dress I swore I never wore. Hi darlings. I'm the real Elena. And I just wanted to say, thank you for your support. Ethan needed help. And I've taken over, permanently. The stream hit 10 million views in 3 minutes. Comments flooded in. She's back. We knew that guy was lying. Thank God the real Elena took over. Emma turned to me. I didn't upload that, she whispered. But the upload logs confirmed it came from my device. That evening, a drone dropped a package outside the cabin. No return address. Inside, a high-end VR headset. With a note. One last chance to be part of her story. Or be erased from it completely. I threw it across the room. It turned on anyway. Projected Elena across the wall. You thought this was your life, she whispered. But I'm the brand. The beauty. The belief. You're just the prototype. And then she turned her head 90 degrees and looked straight at me. Like she saw me. Outside the glass. Outside the device. I tried to leave the cabin. But the woods were filled with sound systems. Elena's voice played from speakers I hadn't installed. You wore me once. Then begged to become me. Now you're ashamed? You should be thanking me. You never had a legacy before me. Every tree I passed had her face carved into it. Every puddle showed her reflection. I wasn't in the woods. I was inside her. Inside Elena. And she was swallowing me whole. Back inside, I loaded a virus Geo had sent. He called it Glassbreaker. A last-ditch code designed to corrupt the MK servers, take down Elena's visual clones from the source. I connected to a stolen uplink. Loaded the program. A warning popped up. Running this script will eliminate all Elena data, including original Model 0. Proceed. I hovered over the Y key. Emma watched me. If you run it, you might forget her. I looked at the last shard of mirror still intact. Saw my face. And hers. Merged. I don't care. I whispered. I want me back. I pressed Y. The moment I pressed Y, the world went white. Not a blinding flash, more like deletion. Code unraveling. Memory flickering. I couldn't hear Elena's voice anymore. I couldn't hear mine either. Just silence. I collapsed to the floor. Emma grabbed me. Ethan? Ethan? I opened my eyes, but didn't recognize her. Didn't recognize myself. Hours later, I stood in front of the bathroom mirror. No makeup. No lashes. No wig. Just skin. My skin. My jaw looked sharp again. My eyes dull, tired but human. I ran a hand across my scalp. No phantom extensions. No gloss on my lips. For the first time in months, I felt alone. Not haunted. Not observed. No music in the trees. No whispered laughter. She was gone. Emma scrolled through her phone, holding her breath. The networks are offline, she whispered. MK servers are down. Elena's gone from Instagram, TikTok, Threads, even her AR filters.
She paused.
Then held out her phone. Except this. On the dark screen, there was just a timer. Counting down. 00:11:42. 00:11:41. What is this? Emma shook her head. I don't know, but it's everywhere. Every device that ever ran Elena's likeness is now running this countdown. I stood, walked to the window, and whispered. She always had a backup. That night, I sat alone. No mirrors. No screens. Just candlelight and wood. But still, I saw it. In the puddle near the cabin door. A flicker. A shimmer. A wink. Not a smile. Just a look. Not threatening. Not angry. Just waiting. The countdown hit 0. Across the world, all screens flickered once. Just once. And then nothing. People panicked. Some cried. Others just moved on. But those who had seen her once swore they could still feel her watching. MK disbanded. The founder disappeared. But her face? It still showed up in dreams. And in some reflections if you looked long enough. She'd blink. Before you did, I look at myself now and ask, am I Ethan? And sometimes, I hear a whisper from behind the glass. You were.